Let's get some analysis on this now from Julia Roknifard. She joins me live from Kuala Lumpur. She is a senior lecturer of Middle Eastern Studies at Taylor's University in Malaysia. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. I want to get your thoughts on everything that has happened over the last couple of hours, the final exchange between Israel and Hamas, and the point we're at now, where talks on phase 2 have stalled, but there's this anticipation and anxiety going into Saturday when phase 1 expires.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot remains uncertain about the phase 2 because negotiations are not even underway. As you mentioned in your report, that there are some rumors about the delegations heading for another round of these negotiations to decide on the details of the phase 2, which now has been agreed on only in principle, with phase 1 to be finalized yet, which expires this Saturday. And phase 2 would be supposed to start on Sunday, but it doesn't seem to be happening until the phase 1 is completed. Despite the number of hostages that you mentioned remaining in captivity, it seems that Hamas is determined to finalize the phase 1 if the guarantees are given that the phase 2, where the permanent ceasefire is supposed to take place, is going to be realized. However, on the Israeli side, the hostages were the major pressuring factor for the Netanyahu government, which is still under pressure because of the changes in the government with the far right criticizing him. And that is why we're hearing the rumors that possibly Israel would like to go back into Gaza. That's why it did not withdraw the forces completely. So a lot of this is in a kind of a hanging position. And with a commitment given on the part of Hamas to even submit to the common governance under the Palestinian Authority, it's rather uncertain if the parties are going to reach any kind of decision by this Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to mention that Hamas had said they're willing to release all of the remaining hostages during the second phase of the ceasefire deal at one go. U.S. President Donald Trump, he insists that it's Netanyahu's decision whether or not to continue through with this ceasefire deal. Talk to us a bit about the leverage that Trump has over Netanyahu, especially after he released that AI video of his plans for Gaza's future, of turning it into the Riviera of the Middle East.
I think everybody already ridiculed this proposal of the Gaza Riviera among the Arab countries as well, with the exception that the political leadership of the Arab countries cannot afford to blatantly criticize this proposal, but I'm sure it's done behind the closed doors, and probably a lot of back channel talking is taking place. Right now. It's not clear at the same time that the Arab states what kind of common position that they can arrive to. They already had one summit in Riyadh, and they're supposed to have another in the early March in Cairo. And one would imagine that that would be the reasonable thing to do, to arrive at a common position and to try and pressure the United States to, in turn, pressure Israel to reach to some conclusion. But if it exactly will be happening, we cannot be sure at this point. Historically, there was no disagreements. Reaching the unanimous position on any kind of a matter has been difficult. On the other hand, for the Trump administration, one of the considerations could be with this proposal, so-called proposal for the Gaza Riviera, expelling the residents of Gaza, could be, as some also suppose, to give these impossible demands, expecting that probably the United States would not have to spend too much on the next phases of this regulation, including the reconstruction of Gaza. And also, I'm sure that for Trump administration, it would be preferable to end this war. Well, first of all, because the foreign policy orientation of his administration is quite different, and he would prefer to get done and over with the ongoing conflicts and reorient back to China. And two, to stop this ongoing drain of resources on the Israeli side, because the conflict might turn into the war of attrition, especially if the Israeli army returns to Gaza and the war continues, because if it's a financial drain not only for Israeli government, but also for the American government.
Indeed. Well, we're going to be following that Arab League meeting that you mentioned in the early days of March very closely here on TRT World. Particularly the reaction that we hear from Saudi Arabia is going to be important for the discussions set to be held in the near future. Julia Roknifard, thank you so much for being with us here on TRT World. I appreciate your analysis.